Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
Deadly lightning at Venice Beach. One man is killed, 7 others are injured. We're live with the very latest.
More lightning in another beach city scorches a home and a car. Danny Romero is tracking this dangerous summer storm.
Plus, a repo gone horribly wrong. A tow truck driver chased down and killed as he tries to repossess a car. Good evening, I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. One man is dead and several others are hurt after a sudden lightning strike in Venice Beach.
A powerful thunderstorm caught beachgoers off guard this afternoon. Our Danny Romero is tracking all the wild weather. But we begin with Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter live in Venice Beach. Leanne.
Jory and Giovanna, as you said, a deadly afternoon today out on the water here at Venice Beach. A 20-year-old man is killed. Another man is fighting to survive after a freak lightning storm.
Lifeguards tried desperately to save a swimmer after he's pulled from the water after lightning hits Venice Beach.
I saw the lightning, the actual lightning, just like came in from this side all the way to the in the water. And that time we saw like a bunch of people. We heard like the sirens.
The 20-year-old was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Officials say the swimmer and a surfer were in the water near the Driftwood lifeguard station when a massive bolt of lightning hit the water around 2:20 this afternoon. The 2 men, the closest to the powerful strike, both reportedly knocked unconscious.
Out of nowhere, we heard like a thunderstorm, like really, really loud. And it came from that side, like that side of the beach. So we all went running towards it, and then we saw the guy, and like by that time, the lifeguards were there, and everyone was giving him CPR.
Officials say the surfer is in critical condition. 8 others, including a 15-year-old, were taken to the hospital for minor injuries. Officials say all are expected to make a full recovery. Witnesses say the massive bolt of lightning sent a surge of electricity through the water.
Electricity just going, and I started instantly as it ran away. And everybody came out from the water. It happened instantly.
I've never seen anything like this. I've never known that we needed in California to be have these kinds of lightning strikes that they do in other parts of the country, but apparently we do.
Lifeguards say there was absolutely no warning before that lightning started. Now again, 6 of the victims are listed in fair condition tonight. That surfer listed in critical condition, but it was a 20-year-old man who lost his life. Live in Venice Beach, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Leanne, thank you. The lightning strikes frightened many beachgoers and residents in the Venice area. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell has more from witnesses.
Several people who've lived here at the beach for a long time tell us they've never heard or seen lightning like this. In fact, residents of some buildings ran outside when they heard the impact. Many of the victims were in the area of the Driftwood lifeguard station when the lightning struck. Lifeguards and paramedics rushed to treat the injured. We've spoken to a number of people who were relaxing on the beach when they say clouds rolled in and the weather suddenly changed. In fact, one group was playing beach volleyball, and one of the men in that group describes the jolt that he felt.
You know, we went about our game, and then all of a sudden there was a big flash of light and a boom, and I felt like someone punched me in the back of my head, like right here. And it went down my whole side of my right body, and my calf sort of locked up, and I fell over. And I looked up, and everybody else was, falling over.
We had started to hear some activity, some storm activity, and I said, this is not a good place to be. We should go inside because I don't feel like getting killed today. And then moments later, all hell broke loose.
They had another scuba diver over here pulled out. They resuscitated him. It sounded like a sonic boom. It literally shook the building, shook us on the courts.
I haven't ever seen in LA something like that and heard thunder that close. It literally knocked me off my chair.
That man who was struck by lightning told us he was examined by paramedics, and he says he's feeling okay. But given the number of people who were out here this afternoon, it is amazing that more weren't injured when that lightning struck. Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Meantime, in Redondo Beach, a bolt of lightning struck a home on the 1600 block of Haines. The homeowners say inside there's a burn mark going up the wall, and the outlets in the room hit by lightning are all blown out. Officials say lightning knocked the wires off a power pole. The pole then landed on a car. setting it on fire. Authorities evacuated 2 blocks. Up to 4 homes were damaged. No one was injured, though.
The wild weather first made an appearance on Catalina Island, where lightning also sent 1 person to the hospital. Jay Vargas captured thunder and rain on video in Avalon. A 57-year-old man was struck by lightning while out on a golf course. He's hospitalized in stable condition. Our Danny Romero joins us live now with the very latest on this wild weather. Danny.
Thanks very much, Giovanna and Jory. Yeah, I'll tell you, we're looking at our live Mega Doppler 7000 HD from earlier this afternoon, and we can see those lightning strikes that happened right there on the coast, certainly Venice, but you can see quite a few lightning strikes happen right about that time. We recorded this as the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD was picking this all up earlier this afternoon. Now we go live to our Mega Doppler 7000 HD. We can see things have calmed down a little bit, but there are still some areas to watch where we certainly saw some good action today. The desert areas, always a spot for thunderstorm and rain action in this summer kind of tropical weather. So we saw that certainly around Temecula, Fallbrook, east of that area. Also, the mountain areas pick up a lot of thunderstorm action too. So we look back on the last hour or two around Big Bear there too. Some lightning strikes, some rain moving through Big Bear, bringing some heavy downpours briefly. And then it moves on out very quickly, but still there is moisture in the air, certainly over the area. To the coast we go, and there we can see that it's fairly dried out now, but watch the very last frame there. Still some moisture sitting off the coast. We mentioned this earlier this afternoon, that there's still some more moisture circulating out there off the coastline. We're going to watch for this through tonight into the late evening hours, into tomorrow morning as well, as the conditions are still in place. Temperatures are still on the warm side. That tropical moisture still in our area, so even those beach areas, the coastal spots, where all this action happened earlier today, could very well be someplace to watch again as we go in through tonight, into tomorrow morning as well. Now, beyond tomorrow morning, how much more of this tropical thunderstorm weather will we have? I'll let you know when I come back with a live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7-day in just a little bit. Right now, Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Danny, thanks so much. We'll see you in a bit. We also had some dangerous weather in the mountains today. The summer thunderstorms unleashed lightning in Big Bear around 10:15 this morning. Eyewitness News viewer William Ellis captured this rainstorm, and you can see there was some minor flooding on the mountain roads.
Today's storms also brought some rain to other parts of the South Bay, including Torrance. Here you can see drivers dealing with some slippery roads, windshield wipers getting their first workout in quite a while.
And remember, when news and weather happens, get updates anywhere you are. Just download our free Eyewitness News app to your mobile device.
In other news tonight, hundreds of firefighters are battling a wildfire on the western edge of Yosemite National Park. The blaze has charred more than 2,000 acres. 1 home has been destroyed and 100 others have been evacuated in Foresta. The fire broke out yesterday, but no word yet on how it started. The blaze is burning south of last year's Rim Fire, which seared more than 250,000 acres in and around Yosemite.
The Century Crunch is nearly over. The railroad bridge over Century Boulevard has now been demolished. Time-lapse video shows that demolition. The bridge was taken down to build a new light rail station. Street lanes still have to be restriped. K-rails need to be installed. Officials say crews are now ahead of schedule and should finish by the deadline of 6 a.m. tomorrow morning before the rush hour commute. A reminder, traffic flow will be reduced by 1 lane in each direction on Century Boulevard for the next 16 months as that rail station is built.
And now to a repo gone wrong. A tow truck driver trying to repossess a car early today in Southgate was chased down, shot, and killed. It started with gunfire in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven off Rosecrans and Atlantic Avenues in Compton, then a crash at Firestone Place and Rayo Avenue in Southgate. Eyewitness News reporter Darsha Phillip has the story.
The driver of this tow truck was gunned down early this morning in Southgate.
We think it was a repossession that went bad. It doesn't happen often.
Authorities believe the tow truck driver was first fired upon by several suspects at this location, the 7-Eleven on Atlantic and Rosecrans. Then authorities believe the tow truck driver was followed by multiple suspects in several cars to Southgate. Authorities say the tow truck driver and another vehicle not involved in the crime collided at the intersection of Rayo and Firestone about 4 a.m. The suspects, authorities believe, then shot the tow truck driver.
A call went out of a traffic collision to Southgate Police Department officers, and they responded, and they discovered a male suffering from gunshot wounds outside of the vehicle. outside of the tow truck. That male was transported to a local hospital where he died.
The occupants of the vehicle that struck the tow truck were taken to the hospital and are expected to be okay. The suspects, authorities say, fled the scene. 2 people, possible witnesses, were taken to the police station for questioning. Nearby residents can't believe a life was taken over a repossession of a vehicle.
It's not even a good area to walk around and be safe no more. there need to be more cops around and stuff.
A white Dodge Caliber with a Finance Auto Sales paper license plate was still hooked to the tow truck. Finance Auto Sales say they contract with multiple tow companies when repossessing a vehicle, but would not comment further. Authorities do not have suspect descriptions, but believe multiple people may be involved. In Southgate, I'm Darsha Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Tomorrow, a 45-year-old Cyprus man accused of victimizing at least 17 girls is set to be arraigned. Prosecutors say Michael Mordaunt posed as a young surfer boy on social media sites to meet girls. They say he met some of them in person and allegedly molested them. He's charged with 24 felony counts of sex crimes involving girls between 12 to 16 years of age. Mordaunt was working in information technology for Seal Beach. Investigators believe there are many more victims out there they hope will now come forward. Police in the city of Alhambra are looking for a driver who crashed into a teen on a skateboard and then took off. The 17-year-old was struck at the intersection of Alhambra Road and Margarita Avenue around 10 o'clock last night. Police aren't sure if it was an accident or if the driver intentionally crashed into the teen. That victim was rushed to the hospital with a broken leg. Anyone with information about this incident is urged to call Alhambra Police.
Closing arguments are expected tomorrow in the civil trial that could determine the future ownership of the LA Clippers. Shelley Sterling is seeking approval of her bid to sell the team over the objections of her husband and co-owner Donald Sterling. Former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer has offered $2 billion for the team. If Shelley Sterling wins, the sale can move forward. If Donald Sterling wins, the NBA is likely to seize the team and auction it. Sterling was banned from the NBA after recordings of a racist rant became public.
Governor Jerry Brown leaves tomorrow for Mexico for 3 days of trade meetings. In preparation for the trip, the governor met with Mexico's Secretary of Foreign Affairs in Sacramento on Wednesday. The governor wants to increase investments in the state, promote university exchanges, and form environmental partnerships. He also wants to discuss immigration issues. The trip does include a delegation of government and business leaders. Now to the Middle East, where a new 24-hour ceasefire between Israel and Hamas does not appear to be holding. And Israel is defending itself against charges it struck that UN school this past week where families were seeking refuge. ABC's David Wright is in Gaza.
Ceasefire? More of a question than a fact on the ground today. First, Hamas rejected Israel's olive branch, firing rockets in response, prompting this response from Israel, part of which whizzed right over our heads. Finally, Hamas did agree to the ceasefire. We waited for the shelling to stop before taking a closer look.
Turns out the target was this building, which we're told is a police academy run by Hamas. Over the course of the afternoon, there have been several breaks in the ceasefire, and always this sound. Give a listen. Those are Israeli drones keeping a watchful eye.
Today, the Israeli military released grainy footage from the eye in the sky, purporting to show rockets fired today from a school. The images are edited and impossible to verify, but potentially significant. Israel has repeatedly accused Hamas of endangering civilians by launching attacks from crowded areas. It's one of the initial explanations given for last Thursday's attack on a UN school. But today the Israeli military also released this video, which they say shows that incident in real time. They say it shows an errant Israeli mortar landing in the school courtyard, but only when it was empty.
Again, impossible to verify what that video shows or even when it was filmed. And it doesn't explain the blood we saw in the courtyard or the casualties in the hospital. But Israel insists it is not responsible. So, who is? David Wright, ABC News, Gaza.
Coming up, the TSA is offering cold, hard cash for your ideas.
Plus, the latest on that Ebola outbreak. The lives of 2 Americans are now in danger. An update straight ahead.
Then, a father and his young daughter in the wrong place at the wrong time. A small plane crash lands on a beach. Stay with us for that.
And looking live at Laguna Beach, it's been a wild weather day here in Southern California. Danny Romero is tracking it all. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Danny Romero joining us now. It's been a busy day in the weather department, I know.
Yeah, certainly. I was showing the live mega dot for 7,000 HD. Following all of this weather action was going on, lightning strikes, of course, all this heavy rain coming down in some spots. Let's check it out right now, see where everything is as it's shaping up through the afternoon. Now into the early evening hours, there is still some warmth in the air. There is still some moisture in the air. That's the factors that we need. Those are the factors we need in place to give us a chance to still some thunderstorms happening here, even in the early evening hours. So we can show them the live mega dot for 7,000 HD. Still some moisture to worry about. Let's show you some of the spots where we saw some of that action earlier today. Desert spots, certainly. The heat and then moisture work together. So over the last couple hours, we can see some of that rain still move through the area. We had lightning there earlier in the afternoon, the real heat of the day. Up around Big Bear Mountains, also a place to find a lot of this tropical storm action going on here in the summer months. So Big Bear there, they had their share of rain, certainly, and there, too, some lightning strikes earlier in the day. Now, on the coast, we're watching here because we can see that up around the Venice area where we saw the horrible, tragic lightning storm earlier today, that's staying quiet now. However, there's still some moisture sitting out here just south of Avalon, which also had its share of thunderstorm activity earlier today. So still some more moisture that could make its way onshore. We're going to watch that through the nighttime as well. Outside we go. Here's a great view. Our live HD camera shows LAX. A great mixture here of those tropical clouds and also a little marine layer trying to move its way in, but otherwise just kind of a hazy-looking coastal shot. For downtown L.A., there the clouds have moved in for a Sunday night, and temperature-wise we're at 76 degrees, so still on the warm side, just a breeze of 5 miles per hour. Relative humidity, here's that moisture in the air we're talking about, 54%, with the barometer holding steady. But let me show you a gorgeous sunset from Angeles National Forest. Our camera, again, the clouds in the sky, thinning out somewhat. Not quite as built up as we saw earlier in the day, but as the sun sets, a beautiful view of the skyline of Southern California. Here's what's working. We've got that tropical moisture. Look at that, really feeding into Southern California, driven by this ridge of high pressure that's to the east and pushing everything in with that circular motion, that clockwise circulation around the high. But what's going to change for our weather about midweek or so is that high that's at the moment positioned to our east. It's going to start drifting towards the west. When it does that, it cuts off that tropical moisture source. We dry things out, but with that high still in place, we're going to stay hot with that offshore flow kicking in. Now, temps tonight, a warm summer night, only down to 70 in Pasadena, to 76 in Lancaster, 67 at Malibu. Highs tomorrow, again, the heat back once again in the deserts, triple digits, 90s on the inland spots, Santa Clarita 95, Northridge 93, beaches at 77 in Malibu, 79 Huntington Beach, IE in the mid-90s as well. Here's our 7-day Powered by AccuWeather showing you they're still going to keep in that chance of showers tomorrow for the LA Metro Orange County area, including the coastal spots, with the warm temps to 84, 85 range. We get rid of that tropical moisture right about Wednesday or Thursday and stay warm to the end of the week, and then a little bit more of that humidity comes back for Saturday and Sunday. Temps stay right about where they should be, 85, 86 range. Valleys, Inland Empire, we're showing you low 90s, but still a chance of showers tomorrow. Humidity still in place. We dry things out. Stay on the hot side, though, up around 96, 97 into the weekend. A hot weekend Saturday and Sunday with some clouds moving back in as well. For the mountains, thunderstorm action again for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday until it dries out a bit Thursday, Friday. A little return of that moisture on Saturday and Sunday, and temps warm for the mountains all the way through in the 70s and 80s. High desert goes thunderstorm action again tomorrow and Tuesday, and the temps stay hot, certainly hot and humid for the start of the week, and then as we head towards midweek and towards the end of the week, we have just the dry desert heat, and then next Saturday and Sunday right now, the models are showing a little return of that tropical humidity once again for next Saturday and Sunday, combined with those 102 highs. We could see some more of this action again next week. All right?
That's
Something
uncomfortable, too. Yeah, wow. Okay, Danny, thank you.
Okay.
Now to the battle against one of the most feared diseases on the planet, Ebola. The highly contagious and deadly disease has struck 2 Americans now, including a doctor from Texas. ABC's Richard Cantu has the latest.
The fast-moving Ebola virus has struck 2 Americans in Liberia, both healthcare workers risking their lives to stamp out a deadly outbreak in West Africa. Dr. Kent Brantley cared for patients inside this isolation center in Liberia, seen here with his wife and young children who are now home in the U.S. A second American healthcare worker, Nancy Wrightbowl, also tested positive, and word today a Liberian doctor has died from the disease.
When you look at Ebola outbreaks, the group that's at highest risk of getting it is actually healthcare workers.
You can see Dr. Brantley here with the head-to-toe protective gear he must wear when treating Ebola patients, with not an inch of skin exposed.
We are doing everything that we can to keep our staff safe, but the reality is it is a deadly disease and it is easily spread.
We don't yet know how the 2 Americans got infected.
Now, it's not like measles or flu, where if you're in the same area, you're going to get sick. You have to have touched secretions from that person.
This year, the highly contagious disease spread to 3 West African countries. More than 600 are dead.
People are very concerned about this outbreak because it's been going on for so many months, and it's not just limited to one isolated region of a country. It's 3 different countries.
Dr. Brantley is listed in stable condition. His colleagues tonight calling for more international assistance to battle the disease. Richard Cantu, ABC News, New York.
Do you just dread going through security at the airport? Think you have an idea that can make things go a little smoother? Well, the TSA is offering up rewards totaling up to $15,000 for great ideas to speed up the security lines at airports. Several categories of travelers have to be considered, including passengers in wheelchairs, pilots and crew members, premium travelers, and those using TSA's pre-check program. One prize of at least $5,000 will be awarded, others of at least $2,500. You can submit your idea online. The deadline is August 15th.
How do you tow a shipwrecked cruise ship?
It's a good question. Coming up, the final voyage of the Costa Concordia. Time-lapse footage as the massive ship heads for a scrapyard.
Then, buried alive, the new warning about a different kind of danger at the beach. Tragedy today in Florida, where a small plane was forced to land on a beach, hitting a father and daughter walking on the sand. The pilot of the 1972 Piper Cherokee apparently contacted the Venice, Florida airport, saying he wasn't going to be able to make it back to the airport. Instead, he tried to land on the beach and crashed. Officials say a father and his little girl were walking on the sand when the plane came down. That father was killed. The girl was flown to a hospital in critical condition. The pilot and a passenger were not hurt. The NTSB is investigating the crash.
The Costa Concordia is now moored at the Italian port of Genoa after a successful towing operation. Time-lapse footage shows the shipwrecked cruise liner approaching the port over 7 hours. The move through the Mediterranean took 4 days in what's been one of the biggest ever maritime salvage operations. Cruise liner capsized more than 2 years ago when its captain sailed too close to an island, killing 32 people. The massive ship will now be scrapped in Genoa, a process that will take another 2 years.
Up next, lightning kills a swimmer off Venice Beach.
Yeah, dangerous storm hit Southern California today. 7 other people also hit by lightning. 1 is in critical condition.
Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. We're tracking all of that weather action on the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. Will there be more tomorrow? I'll tell you in just a bit.
2 out-of-control wildfires are raging in Northern California. Thousands of acres on fire. The latest straight ahead.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
Lightning kills one beachgoer at Venice Beach. 7 others are hurt. A day of wild and deadly weather in Southern California.
Thousands of acres scorched. Homes are destroyed and hundreds of people are evacuated as 2 major wildfires rage in Northern California.
And finally, some good news at the gas pump. See why your summer road trip could cost you less. Good evening. I'm Giovanna Lotta.
And I'm Jory Rand. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. It doesn't happen often in Southern California, but today a thunderstorm struck at Venice Beach, lightning killing one person, sending several others to the hospital.
A beautiful summer Sunday afternoon quickly turns dark in Venice Beach. A rare summer storm striking suddenly, lightning catching beachgoers unprepared.
It sounded like a sonic boom. It literally shook the building, shook us on the courts.
We had started to hear some activity, some storm activity, and I said, you know, this is not a good place to be. We should go inside because I don't feel like getting killed today. And then moments later, all hell broke loose.
The bolts of lightning sent huge crowds running for cover.
All of a sudden, there was a big flash of light and a boom, and I felt like someone punched me in the back of my head, like right here. And it went down my whole side of my right body, and my calf sort of locked up and I fell over.
Some on the beach were struck, falling over, lying face down on the beach. Lifeguards ran to help the victims, performing CPR.
They had another scuba diver over here pulled out. They resuscitated him.
Ambulances rushed the injured to local hospitals. The county fire department combing the beach for a swimmer who was in the water at the time of the strike. 90 minutes later, he was located. Firefighters performed CPR, but it was just too long in the water. The young man was pronounced dead at the hospital. At least 3 other lightning strikes jolted Catalina Island today, injuring a golfer, but he is expected to be okay.
Lightning strikes at the beach can be so dangerous. Witnesses say the lightning bolt sent a surge of electricity through the water. That victim, who died, was just 20 years old. Meanwhile, a surfer is in critical condition, clinging to life. 6 others are listed in fair condition.
A bolt of lightning struck a home on the 1600 block of Haynes in Redondo Beach. The homeowners say there's a burn mark inside the house going up the wall, and the outlets in the room hit by lightning are all blown out. Officials say lightning knocked the wires off a power pole. The pole then landed on a car and set it on fire. Authorities evacuated 2 blocks. Up to 4 homes were damaged. No one was injured. Danny Romero is here live now with more on the weather. Danny.
All right, thanks, Giovanna and Jory. Yeah, we look at our Sunday and things are calming down a little bit, but we're still not quite out of the woods. A lot of moisture still in the air. The areas that usually get hit with these summer thunderstorms are the deserts and the mountain areas. However, as we saw today, the coast not out of the range of these thunderstorms moving through the area. So we'll show you here on the Live Mega Opera 7000 HD. I'll put a little loop in action and show you. We go back an hour or two, and some of that rain that moved through some of the desert areas just out of Valley Center, just east of Temecula and Fallbrook. We saw some rain and some lightning strikes here earlier this way today as well. Mountain spots, always a place to find these thunderstorms. Up around Big Bear, there too. Some light rain moved through along with thunder strikes and lightning bolts that moved through that area as well earlier this afternoon and in the early evening hours as well. On the coast, here's something to watch. A lot of moisture still sitting off the coast, moving over Avalon that had the lightning strikes earlier today. And now in the very last frame you see of that Live Mega Opera 7000 HD, we can see some of that moisture moving on shore just north of Newport Beach and up towards Brea, so there's still moisture in the air. The heat is still there as well, so something still to watch for through the early evening hours, and of course more as we watch it through the nighttime as well. I'll come back with a 7-day lay it out for you, how much more there is to come in just a little bit. Giovanna, Jory, go ahead.
Danny, thank you. The National Weather Service in Oxnard is also paying close attention to everything that happened today.
It's not totally uncommon. We do get usually once or twice a summer. We'll get these storms that rotate right into the coastal areas. Somewhat unusual, but not unheard of.
Forecasters showed on the radar how the storm made its way across Catalina Island, eventually passing over Venice Beach. They say it is important to pay attention to the weather forecast, especially when heading out onto the water. They say darkening clouds are also a good indicator of an approaching thunderstorm.
Firefighters in Northern California are battling 2 major wildfires tonight, one near Sacramento, the other near Yosemite National Park. Homes have been destroyed, evacuations are underway, and ABC's Brandy Hitt has the latest from the Sand Fire.
Take a look at this devastation. This used to be somebody's home, and the only thing you can really recognize is the family's exercise bike and this kitchen stool. And tonight, hundreds of homes remain in the fire's path. Hundreds of firefighters are spread thin across 2 raging wildfires in Northern California. Together, nearly 6,000 acres have burned.
I'm scared.
Outside Sacramento, the sand fire has destroyed 10 homes and forced more than 1,000 residents to evacuate.
The sheriff came to the door and said you have to evacuate now.
Extreme heat and drought are making it tough for these firefighters to get a handle on the blaze. So hot and dry, the sand fire was started simply by a vehicle driving on this hot, rural terrain. Just a little more than 100 miles to the south, inside the iconic Yosemite National Park, a separate fire is burning. Overnight, the fire quadrupled in size from 500 to more than 2,000 acres. One famous campground inside the park evacuated. Hotshot crews are digging trenches, and there is an all-out air assault to get a handle on these fires. These firefighters have also been working in triple-digit heat, and there's really no relief in sight, with stronger winds expected to kick up again tonight. Conditions are so bad, another small fire also sparked just 10 miles from here.
That was ABC's Brandy Hitt reporting.
A 2-year-old has died after apparently drowning in a pool at a home in Mira Loma. Deputies were called out yesterday evening after the young girl was found by family members floating in the pool. She was rushed to a hospital where she was later declared dead. The Riverside Sheriff's Department is now investigating the incident. And a woman folding clothes at a laundromat in South Los Angeles found herself in the crossfire of a gang shooting. It happened just after noon today on 43rd and Main. The LAPD says 2 gang members opened fire on another gang member, that is, outside the laundromat when one bullet ricocheted off a wall and hit the 60-year-old woman in the mouth. Police say she may have lost some teeth but is expected to survive. The intended victim was not shot. Investigators are now reviewing surveillance video.
Wow. Turning now to Libya, European nations have warned their citizens to get out today as heavy clashes between army troops and Islamist-led militias killed nearly 40 people. Libya militiamen are fighting for control over the capital's international airport in Tripoli. Health officials say rockets fired during today's violence hit civilian homes, killing innocent people and wounding dozens. 8 militiamen were also killed in the fight, including the brother of an alleged leader of an al-Qaeda-inspired group. Yesterday, the U.S. has also closed its embassy in Libya and evacuated staff as fighting continued to intensify. Meantime, the U.S. State Department has released satellite images that it says show Russia has been firing rockets into eastern Ukraine. Officials say the images show blast marks from where rockets were launched in Russian soil and craters where they landed 7 miles into Ukrainian territory. These strikes allegedly took place within the past week. Given new photographic evidence, Ukrainian officials are asking the U.S. for help. The White House is urging European nations to do their part by imposing additional sanctions on Russia.
Not only has Russia been providing weapons across the border, including heavy weapons, but they've also now been firing artillery barrages across the border. We believe that absent Russian support, absent Russian weapons, that these separatists could not sustain what they're doing.
For now, Russia is remaining silent on the new photographic evidence. U.S. officials believe a Russian missile brought down Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 in eastern Ukraine earlier this month, killing nearly 300 people on board. Russia denies any involvement. The country's state-run news agency says Moscow has formed a team to help with the investigation.
Some relief at the pump. The cost of gas in and around the LA area is finally on a downward spiral, at least for now. According to AAA, people in LA and Long Beach are paying $4.01 for a gallon of regular unleaded gas. Last month, the average was $4.16. In Orange County, drivers are filling up for less than $4. That's down 17 cents from last month. Drivers in the IE are also under the $4 mark at $3.99, but last month they were well above it, dishing out $4.12 per gallon. Ventura County drivers are paying $3.99, and that's down 14 cents from a month ago.
It impacts everybody, especially the working poor.
I would love to see gas prices drop more so we'll be able to save. You can be able to go vacation with the family and stuff.
It goes up and down the prices, but what we could do? Nothing. So just take it easy and enjoy the life.
Good advice. Yeah. Much more news still to come here on Eyewitness News on LA56.
Coming up, a hidden danger at the beach. A California man buried alive as a sand tunnel caves in. What you need to know to stay safe. That's coming up.
Stay out of sand tunnels. A live look outside tonight at LAX. A beautiful night over Los Angeles. Danny Romero will be next with a look at your work week forecast.
As millions of Americans flock to the beach this summer, there are new concerns over a danger at the beach that has nothing to do with rip currents or sharks, but actually the sand. ABC's Cecilia Vega has the story.
Buried alive. That's how rescue workers say Adam Pye died Monday afternoon at this Northern California beach, covered in sand and trapped inside the 10-foot deep hole he dug.
The girls came out of their tunnel. His tunnel, I guess, caved in or something because the girls turned around and, where's Adam? Where's Adam?
This video showing dozens of beachgoers frantically using their hands, buckets, anything they could, trying to get to Pye, a recent college graduate, but it was too late.
Finally, he graduated to say, Mama, now I have some time, I can rest.
Now, a warning for anyone headed to the sandy shores.
You could be covered in minutes.
Seconds. I mean, it usually happens in seconds. As long as you can hold your breath, it's about how much time you have.
In 2011, it took firefighters 27 minutes to rescue this 17-year-old in Huntington Beach, California. The walls of a 7-foot deep sand tunnel collapsed on him. He survived.
Went to sleep thinking I was going to die.
But a 12-year-old New Jersey boy wasn't as lucky. He died in 2012 after becoming trapped in a tunnel he dug with his brother.
Two things to remember when you're digging a hole at the beach. Number one, keep it knee deep. And number two, cover the hole before you leave.
A reminder this summer that the ocean isn't the only danger to consider on a day at the beach.
That's horrendous. Wow. That was ABC's Cecilia Vega reporting.
Members of a church in Reseda helped to save hundreds of lives today by donating blood. The World Mission Society Church of God hosted the blood drive with the help of the UCLA Medical Center. Volunteers say 1 out of every 4 people will require blood at some point in their lives.
The gift of blood is the gift of life. So we are here sharing the gift of life with our neighbors. And as you know, the blood is a very short supply right now, particularly in the summer.
Organizers say each donation can save 3 lives, so head on out and donate.
Good thing to do. There's much more news to come, including some incredible video. Witness the birth of some baby loggerhead sea turtles. It was all captured on an infrared camera. That's straight ahead.
And could the Angels get their third win in 4 games against Detroit? Highlights and more ahead in sports. Oxnard is turning up the heat. Things got hot and spicy this weekend at the annual Oxnard Salsa Festival.
The 2-day event celebrates everything salsa.
Spicy food, hot music, and cool ocean breezes are on the menu for the 21st annual festival. The sizzling music got some people on their feet. Have to have some salsa dancing. Of course, some couldn't miss out on the tasty food. Different salsas from mild to wild, dished up by local restaurants and salsa vendors. It's what keeps some people going back year after year.
Salsa is wonderful stuff. I love it. Look, I'm dressed for it here, you know? You got to come prepared to burn your tongue, I guess, or your mouth.
That's right. People also like to say salsa. It's a fun word to say salsa. But don't get it confused with seltzer.
I love salsa. A good salsa is so yummy.
Got to have a kick to it, too, and some salsa dancing.
Danny?
Yeah, both the food and the dancing.
And the movement.
And the movement.
Yes.
Salsa. It's all hot. It's spicy. We're just plain hot. You know, and actually the weather feeling kind of tropical.
Yeah, very tropical. Island-like.
And we're not quite out of the woods yet in terms of the tropical weather. We're still looking at that heat-humidity combination staying with us for a while. Let's go and look at the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD and see how it's looking here for our Sunday night look. And on the scope, we can see there is scattered moisture around the area, and that is serving to keep us on the watch for any more thunderstorm action that could happen tonight. Of course, less and less as it's more cool right now, but certainly some light rain coming down from Mount Baldy to Crestline to Big Bear up around Hesperia to Victorville. We're showing lightning strikes north of Victorville, so still not quite out of the woods, but you need that real intense heat of the inland spots, the deserts and mountain areas to get some lift there too. Some light rain down around Lake Elsinore, just north of Mission Viejo, a light rain amount. On the coast, we're watching this one, right along the coastline from San Clemente up to Dana Point. Just some light rain coming onshore, but still lots of it sitting offshore to keep an eye on through the nighttime hours. Here's our live camera. We're looking over the Orange County area with Irvine Spectrum camera situated there, looking quite nice. Over our downtown skies now. Some clouds are moving in, partly cloudy skies, 76 degrees. So still a warm night through downtown L.A. Temps today, right about where we should be. 84 is the average temp for this date. That's where we got to downtown. Gorgeous sunset we showed you a little while ago at 7:58. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:02. Here's that moisture energy to the south moving into our area once again tomorrow and into Tuesday, and continuing with this high in place to our east. That circulation draws that moisture into our Southern California area. Mountains, deserts certainly, but also as we showed you today on the coastal spots as well. That'll stay in place for right about Thursday or so. The high then moves out. We dry things out and just stay warm. Here's numbers tonight, speaking of warm. 72 overnight in San Bernardino, 76 in Lancaster, down to 64 in Ventura. Then tomorrow, the warmth again. Highs of 77 in Malibu, 95 Santa Clarita, 100 in Palmdale, 96 for San Bernardino, 95 for Riverside, and 87 for Mission Viejo. Again, warm and humid tomorrow. So, with the 7-day power back AccuWeather, we've got the chance of showers once again for the LA Metro Orange County area, including the coastal spots. It starts to dry right about midweek. We stay around average temps, 85, even 86, a little bit warmer into the weekend. Valleys and Inland Empire will be a chance of showers again tomorrow with that humidity in place. Then just the heat with less humidity by midweek and into the weekend. Mountain areas, watch out. Thunderstorm action still again Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It dries out and just stays warm for the mountains, 80s and 79s into the weekend. The high desert, thunderstorm action, heat and humidity in place. Triple-digit numbers when it dries out. It's still going to stay hot. 102 into next weekend in the high desert. There you go. Watch out for it.
So it's a nice time for a staycation because it feels like you're in the island.
Yeah, right. You can go there without spending the money. Exactly.
But be aware of the lightning, however.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks,
watch
Jenny.
out there.
Let's talk some sports. Kurt tried the spicy salsa, so we gave him the night off. The Dodgers have reversed course in the Bay Area after starting Friday's series a game and a half down to the rival Giants. Big Blue now leads the division by a game and a half after sweeping San Francisco. They win tonight's series finale 4-3. Full highlights on Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. Meantime, Angels looking for a series win against Detroit at the Big A. Fifth inning, Halos down 1-0. 2 on, Rick Porcello tries to pick off Eric Ibar. Throw winds up in center field, and Austin Jackson a little bit slow to pick up the ball. Ibar doesn't stop. He just rounds third and heads home. Tie score. Jackson's going to hear about that one. Still tied in the eighth. Not anymore. David Freese sends one out to the rocks in left center. Angels win their third straight over the Tigers. 2-1 is your final. And a celebration for Major League Baseball in Cooperstown, New York. The 2014 Major League Baseball Hall of Fame class inducted today. The 6-member class, half of which came from the 1990s Atlanta Braves, is considered one of the better groups in recent history. One of those former Braves, Greg Maddux, provided some laughs today while also taking a little jab at another of his former teams, the Chicago Cubs.
Playing all the home games at Wrigley Field were really special. With the help of Scott Boras, I moved on to Atlanta. I picked Atlanta because I finally wanted to get a World Series ring and start a family. All right, sorry, Chicago.
Yeah, at 2, Maddox. Jeez. NASCAR Sprint Cup making a visit to Indianapolis. Danica Patrick having some issues on the 68th lap in pit row. Her crew drops the jack, but they end up breaking her rear axle. She finished 42nd. 17 laps to go off the restart. Jeff Gordon makes his way around Casey Kane, maneuvers to the front of the pack, and from there it was gravy. He pulls away, and the Indiana native wins on his home track. It's his record 5th career Brickyard 400 victory. And finally, a fantastic homecoming orchestrated by the Philadelphia Phillies today. The Philly fanatic uses a young fan as a prop in one of his skits, only to find out it was prearranged, a homecoming to see his mom. It was an emotional moment for mother and son who shared some tears and a heartfelt embrace. Loved seeing those military reunions. Good stuff. That's sports.
Yeah, so touching. Coming up later tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7, we're following new developments in the deadly lightning strike at Venice Beach. We'll have live team coverage, including new reaction from those who knew some of the victims. Plus, we're getting a new look at the wildfire burning out of control in Yosemite National Park. Those stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Coming up next, can you hear it? It's that pitter-patter of tiny little flippers.
Incredible images from an infrared camera as baby turtles emerge from their nest. The story straight ahead on Eyewitness News.
It's mind over muscle this weekend at the box office. A brainy Lucy proves stronger than the brawn of a Greek god. That's 100% of her brain at work right there. Lucy, starring Scarlett Johansson as an accidental psychokinetic, brings in more than $44 million in its debut weekend. That leaves The Rock as the almighty Hercules in second place. In third, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with $16.4 million, followed by Purge, Anarchy, and Planes, Fire and Rescue.
A tiny turtle invasion caught on camera in the middle of the night. Take a look. An infrared webcam was rolling in the Florida Keys Friday night as more than 100 little loggerhead sea turtles hatched. The 3-inch-long hatchlings clawed their way out of their sandy nest to the surface. Then the moonlight guided their path as they scrambled toward the ocean for their big journey out to sea. The live streaming webcam is part of ongoing efforts in the Florida Keys to raise awareness of sea turtles and the need to protect them.
And we wish them all well in their journeys. We'll see you at 11.
Bye-bye.